Forgive me. I feel it again. The pulse of the right. Of the screen. I might want to do screenwriting. Show me the power of the trailer. And I will let nothing stand in our way. I will finish what you started.
One of the most beloved sci-fi series of all time returns to the thunderous applause of millions, as one of the least watched web series of all time returns to the encouraging text of my mom. Oh, that's nice. In case you missed The Force Awakens in its marketing, you didn't. That's just not possible. Let's just get right to it. Anyway, after seeing The Force Awakens socially acceptable amount of times, I decided to look back on its third trailer, the big main one, and see how it held up without the hype. What I found was surprising, and it kind of challenged my goal of analyzing trailers in isolation. I'm gonna do my best, but you'll see what I mean. The first section of the trailer does all the heavy lifting in terms of setting up the plot, and it does so with some good old-fashioned visual storytelling. The three major new players here, Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren, each get a little section here, and each section basically follows the same pattern with a little bit of variation. In each sequence, plot details are established not through expositional dialogue, but instead through the shots themselves. We see that Rey is a scavenger, Finn is a stormtrooper on the run, and that Kylo Ren is, well, a Darth Vader wannabe. And that's not an insult, that's exactly his motivation in the film. Man, that was a brilliant idea. Anyway, with this duty taken care of, the dialogue gets to focus on giving us a glimpse into each character's psyche. They get to indirectly talk about themselves, not the story. Rey's dialogue is a bit vague.
Who are you? I'm no one.
Finn's is probably the best.
I was raised to do one thing, but I've got nothing to fight for.
And Kylo Ren's is...
I will finish what you started.
A bit direct, to say the least. That is forgivable, though, considering the character's not at all important background. What is important is that with the visuals and audio working together, we just got a pretty solid look at each character, considering the runtime. And that's just good visual storytelling, trailer or not. But now our editor is in as much trouble as our buddies Poe and those trees there. It's been almost a minute of pretty mild music. On top of that, the only nostalgic thing we've seen is old crumbly Darth. Sounds like we need some images and sounds of childlike wonder.
There are stories about what happened.
This might be my favorite part of the trailer. The use of Princess Leia's theme is just inspired. Before I get too far into that though, I need to note that the visuals fit perfectly. Just a straight montage wouldn't have been very effective here. This music is sweeping, and so is this footage. Sure, it's action, but the camera bobs and sways, the Falcon dips and swoops. This motion is fluid, just like the song. Let's talk about this music. It invokes this beautiful, melancholy tone, and when that's paired with images as iconic as, the Millennium Falcon being chased by TIE fighters, it really does hit the nostalgia spot. Emphasis on the algia. That was some Greek root wordplay, thanks for coming. Luckily, an old friend is here with a perfectly timed reveal to confirm your nost. Delightful.
It's true. All of it.
Alright, we've got our new characters established, an old favorite in the mix, the Falcon blasts into hyperspace, and you might need to sit down, because this is where the main theme hits. Hard.
The dark side.
This section is empowering, it's affirming, and it is all about the music. It's played with such passion and gumption, it's just incredible. And this is where I have the hardest time looking at the trailer, on its own, like I mentioned earlier, because I want to say something generic. I want to say something like, oh yes, this invokes a tone of adventure or, conflict, something like that, but that's just not true. This music is invoking a tone of Star Wars. This trailer, and this section in particular, was made with a complete awareness of the circumstances surrounding the film's release. It is a confident assertion that Star Wars, the one you loved growing up, is coming back. Only in theaters December 18th, tickets available now. I know this sounds a little bit like a cop-out, but it really isn't. That's clearly the goal of the trailer. And ignoring that just so I don't come across as a fanboy, honestly would be a huge disservice to it. I don't have too much else on this section. This one fin and post shot slows the pace a little bit too much, but it's a very good action montage. There's a great explosion match here, a very smooth dissolve here, and this cut basically bounces your eyeline from Ren's saber to Rey's look. It's really good stuff. And as much as I love the bombastic version of the already bombastic Star Wars theme, if it ended on that note, it might come off as a little cheap, like it's riding on the franchise more than its own movie. Luckily, it doesn't.
It's calling to you.
This shift to a more dramatic tone is very smart. It regrounds itself in its own stakes. The movie isn't all, yay, Star Wars, it's saying, you know, we have a story. This section is nothing but battle shots of pretty much only new characters to even further push the notion of we have our own drama, conflict, etc. It was a very good move. The last thing I really want to mention is the very last shot. A, that's an awesome shot. It sounds shallow, but never underestimate good shot selection. B, it was pretty brave actually to hold on it for as relatively long as they did. It's a lot longer than the shots leading up to it. Luckily they recognized that Ren's plodding, threatening pace matched really well with the warlike drums in the score, and so they held on it. It is a perfect final note. Well, like a penultimate note. So there you have it, a great trailer for a film that turned out pretty great too. I think it speaks to the trailer's quality that it's nearly as effective now as it was during the insane build-up to Force Awakens. I'm curious to see what angle Episode 8's trailer campaign will take, because it's going to be a pretty different environment than 7. Oh, and of course I'm unbelievably excited for Rian Johnson's film. As for Episode 9, I've got a bad feeling about this.
The dark side, the Jedi, they're real.